And what I wanted to say, Davo, is that if you have any balls at all, instead of licking Coke bottles, you would come and bring 28 roses to Auschwitz with the name of all of these people. You go and see Hansi and say, Hansi, we need the name of those people. We need to write their story. We need to get rid of that shit. We need to put it on the table. We need to be left with the story, not the pain associated with the story. Because Alice is carrying the pain in her heart, Davo. But you can listen to the recording. It's in French, okay, but I'm going to tell you in English. On the second call to Alice, I tell her I'm going to come and get her. Or the first one, I can't remember, but you listen. I say I'm going to come and get her. And she said, Jean-Paul, if you come to my home and you talk to me, she says those words, you talk to me. She didn't say you come with a stick, no. She said you talk to me about Nazi and concentration and Auschwitz. I called the cop. What she's saying is if I make croakings in her home that mention Nima 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 Auschwitz, Nima 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 Nazi, she's going to call the cops. What is the cop for her system of survival? The cops are the established order, the Catholic Church, the previous programming. That's what the people who got scared in the 40s, 41, 42, 43 and 44 in France did. They just gave the name of their froggy brothers that sounded like jumping with the left hand side swing. And these people were sent to Auschwitz and burned to death there. So your mother is still carrying the pain of that era. It cannot be otherwise. Simone is carrying the pain of that era also. That's why she can open up, and that's why our sex life is what it is, or what it has been. And yes, I had a pretty strong share of responsibility in what it was, because I was myself close in that area. And I've learned to open up in the last year with a lady called Monica. But obviously Monica does not have the same story as Simone. But Monica has another interesting story. She has a father. Her name is Fred. And I'm in tears here. He's my friend. His name is Fred Bolin. And believe it or not, guys, Fred is born in 1931 in Germany. Germany that was not Nazi yet. And in 1933 Hitler came into power. And Fred was educated in the Nazi schools until the age of 14. And at 14 and a half, it was now 1945. And the Americans were invading his part of Germany. And Fred was navigating between, you can listen to another recording I made last year. Fred was running as a messenger between a machine gun that was somewhere in a vineyard and the top of a tank that was in another part of the field, and he was carrying message between the two. And at one time, one of the older people gave him a gun and said, shoot this aeroplane that's coming on top of you. And Fred said, showing his injured hand, he said, I'm injured, I can't shoot. And once the Americans were in, a few days later, Fred was fishing. And you can listen to this has been recorded last year. Fred was fishing in a river. And the Americans were arriving with the Sherman tank, and they crossed a bridge that was designed for with a little sign saying 2 tons only, and the Sherman tank is 45 tons, so the little bridge collapsed under the weight of the tank. And in the collapse of the tank, the American soldier driving the tank got his head chopped off by the tank crashing between the pillars of the bridge. And Fred was below that bridge in the stream with one of his friends, and he saw the grey matter that was in the skull of that soldier float on the water. Yes, his brain was floating on the water. And then Fred was arrested by the French. His uncle came to save him. I mean, there is an entire story there. And what also Fred told me is that when it was December of 1944, Hitler came in the school and took all the boys that were 16 years old and give them new tanks and send them to Bastogne. 80% of these guys died. Out of the 60 of his school that went to Bastogne, 15 came back. The others died. Fred has been to hospital last week. He has had a surgery of the hip. He's 78 and he's suffering from a nervous illness. And in my opinion, it's all linked to this shadowy past of the Nazi regime. Now believe what you want. I don't give a shit. I know. And that's enough for me. So we cannot get rid of the past, guys. It's following us wherever we go. So Davo, if you are the big man that I know you are going to make that jump in the unknown and swim my way, brother. I'm going to wait for you. Bye for now. D'accord?